Many people know of someone affected by bipolar, but many do not understand exactly what bipolar is, how it develops, or what is used to treat its symptoms. Bipolar disorder, or manic depressive disorder, is a mental disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. These periods can last anywhere between days to months in the same depressive or manic state. Bipolar affects 5.7 million adult Americans, 2.6% of the total population. Researchers are still struggling to find the exact causes of the disorder, but it is known to be attributed to mutations in the human genome. A mutation is a permanent alteration in the nucleotide sequence in a person's DNA. This disorder is a complex, multifactorial disorder, meaning in order to develop the trait, there must be multiple mutations in the DNA that combine together to create the mental disorder. 79 to 93% of all bipolar cases have been attributed to genetics. Because the disorder is heritable, if one of your parents have been diagnosed with bipolar, you are at risk for developing the same disease. Currently, scientists have identified 30 different genetic variations that could be linked to the development of bipolar. These variations include single nucleotide polymorphism.
In our SNP test, we are going to include all 30 of the genetic variations. Among those 30 variations, we are going to explain these two in details. The variation on CACNA1C gene, this allele is called RS100637. CACNA1C gene, also known as the calcium voltage-gated ion channel subunit alpha-1 gene, causes calcium channel to mediate the influx of calcium ion into the cell upon membrane polarization. Variation can result in different proteins that do not produce functional channels, which could cause an iron imbalance. Other than bipolar disorder, this variation is also related to recurrent major depression as well as schizophrenia. The variation on FKBP5 gene, this allele is called RS47139002. This gene is located at the 6th chromosome. FKBP5 is also known closely related to glucuronide function. This variation will produce protein, in this case steroid hormone, that cannot function normally. Most common ally RS47139002T is closely related to bipolar disorder. Patients with genotype of TT will stand at a normal chance of developing bipolar disorder, and other genotypes will have chances as small as 0.69 and 0.47 for CT and CC genotypes.
Genetic tests can provide benefits even if the results are negative. If an individual takes a test, it can provide a sense of relief from uncertainty. The test can also help them to make decisions about managing their health after the test. If the test is negative, the need for checkups and screening tests wouldn't be necessary. Bipolar disorder is not identified with any specific trait. There are almost 30 genetic variations related to bipolar disorder. CACNA1C gene and FKBP5 genes are two genetic variations. If an individual has CACNA1C variation, they will have an increased risk of getting the disorder. If an individual has FKBP5, they will have a lower chance of developing the disorder. For FKBP5, RS47139002, if a person has CC genotype, they will have a 0.47 decreased risk for bipolar disorder. If a person has CT genotype, they will have 0.69 decreased risk for bipolar disorder. TT genotype will have a normal chance of developing the disorder. For CANCA1C RS1006737 genotype, AA will increase the risk for bipolar disorder. GG genotype is 0. Around 2.6% of Americans will experience bipolar disorders. Researchers haven't found exact genes that contribute to the disorder. Researchers also haven't found how the brain physically changes when the disorder is present. Bipolar disorder is linked to phospholipase, but brain-derived neurotic factor regulates the activity of phospholipase. When there is a phospholipase deficiency, there is also a brain-derived neurotrophic deficiency. This is important because brain-derived neurotrophic deficiency plays a role in information of brain synapses and junction between nerves. When BDNF is limited, it results in fluctuation between moods.
The limitations of our test. However, genetic testing is not for everyone. Genetic testing cannot prevent the development of a certain genetic trait, just preemptively diagnose it. Genetic testing may also sometimes be inconclusive. In the case of genetic testing to determine if you have the genetic mutation for bipolar, our test might not be as accurate as you wish. Scientists and doctors are still unaware of what genes and mutations exactly or will always result in bipolar. Because the disorder is so complex, it takes multiple genetic variations on different genes in order for the disease to occur. Different variations in different people cause different phenotypes. Therefore, you could have the same genetic mutation as someone with bipolar and never develop the disease. Just because you test positive for a mutation we have identified that causes bipolar does not automatically mean you will be diagnosed with a disorder in the future.
If an individual tests positive for bipolar disorder, it will impact their life financially and emotionally. Testing positive can impact an individual emotionally because they can feel like they are at risk of death. An individual's emotions can be disrupted with the thoughts of treatment after diagnosis. Finances can be impacted because individuals may not be able to pay for tests and treatments. There are arguments about getting tested because there could be a false positive and individuals can think they have a disorder that is not present. This can impact the individual's emotional health. If an individual pays for a test and they are only told their risk increased slightly, that would be a waste of money. There are privacy concerns that consumers should consider while deciding to take the test. Privacy concerns may not be completely understood by consumers. Privacy is a significant risk when you decide to participate in a genetic test. If testing companies want to share their DNA, they could. Consumers do not know what companies will decide to do with their personal genetic information. There is a concern with companies handling personal information and showing it to other people.